The Galactic Empire prided itself on knowing everything that moved in its vast reaches. Millions of star systems, countless planets, and endless stretches of space fell under the watchful eyes of its sensors. Alien scientists, engineers, and navigators had spent centuries perfecting their monitoring networks. Nothing could pass unnoticed, or so they believed. On the bridge of the Empire's flagship Obsidian Crown, Admiral Krint scanned the streams of data flooding the displays. Sensors tracked thousands of vessels, colonies, and natural phenomena, all moving in predictable patterns. Yet something flickered on the edge of detection, a blip that refused to match any known signature. "Commander, are these readings correct?" Krint asked, voice calm but edged with concern. The officer at the console shook his four-fingered hand. "Confirmed, Admiral, I have triple-checked. There is a vessel, no registered origin, no energy signature, moving at speeds far beyond our calculations. It appeared in our charts a cycle ago, and it has already passed our outer perimeter." Krint leaned forward, narrowing his eyes at the holographic display. The vessel was a small, sleek shape, almost too fast to track. Every attempt to calculate its trajectory failed. It twisted through space in ways that defied standard physics, slipping through gravitational fields and disappearing from sensors only to reappear light cycles later. "Impossible," Krint muttered. "No species could achieve this velocity without the technology we have spent centuries developing. No one." "Then it is not one of us," the communications officer said cautiously. "It cannot be in any Empire registry." A murmur ran through the bridge. Even in a coalition as vast as the Galactic Empire, surprises were rare. Unknown vessels were considered either a threat or a natural anomaly. This was neither. It was intelligent, it was deliberate, and worst of all, it was fast. The alarms remained silent because no weapon threat had been detected, but the tension in the command room was palpable. The senior officers exchanged glances, each aware of the implications. The unknown vessel could be a scout, a spy, or an entirely new species the Empire had never encountered. "Prepare drones," Krint ordered. "I want visual confirmation. Track it. Observe it. Do not engage until we know what it is capable of." Drones were dispatched, sleek probes armed with sensors and cameras, designed to withstand deep space hazards. But as soon as they approached the vessel's last known position, the readings vanished. Every drone lost signal almost instantly, leaving only a faint echo of its trajectory. "Admiral, the drones," the officer began. "They are useless," Krint interrupted, slamming a clawed hand on the console. "This vessel is not only faster than our ships, it is smarter. It knows we are watching." Across the galaxy, aboard the unknown vessel, humans observed the Empire with calm curiosity. Their ship was small but sophisticated, made of materials unknown to alien science. No weapons protruded from its hull, no turrets or missile bays. The ship moved with silent precision, slipping through space with a grace that amazed even its own pilots. Captain Alara Morgan studied the holographic displays in the control room. She was a human, one of the crew trained to survive in environments the galaxy considered hostile. Her voice was steady, confident. "Admirals and fleets will panic," she said, almost to herself. "They've never seen a ship like ours. They'll think we are a threat, but we are not. Observation only." Her first officer, Lieutenant Harun, nodded. "And if they detect us?" Alara smiled faintly. "Then they will learn, but we will not start a fight. Humans do not need to fight to be respected. Sometimes intelligence alone is enough." Back on the Obsidian Crown, the Empire's scientists were baffled. Attempts to calculate the ship's speed, trajectory, and energy output produced numbers that made no sense. The vessel moved like a shadow, appearing and disappearing, slipping past sensors that were designed to detect even the smallest asteroids. "Admiral, the vessel, it changed direction again," said the tactical officer, voice tight. It just vanished from our scanners and reappeared near the star cluster in Sector 12. At this speed, it should have taken a full cycle to reach it. Krint's eyes narrowed. Then it is not limited by physics as we know it. Our calculations are useless. Send another drone. This time, triangulate its position and try to predict its next move. Hours passed. Every drone was dispatched, only to be lost within moments. Each failure made the Empire's leaders more uneasy. Among them, whispers spread of a technology so advanced it could render the Empire powerless. Meanwhile, humans inside the vessel had mapped the Empire's fleet without detection. They recorded data, logged patrol patterns, and noted the reactions of the alien species. They understood the fear in the Empire's command. It was not because humans had weapons. It was because humans were unpredictable. In the Empire's council chamber, leaders of multiple species convened. Four-winged generals, telepathic advisors, and energy-manipulating scientists argued about the vessel. "It is a weapon," hissed one telepathic counselor, her tendrils twitching with agitation. "No species could move like that without intent to destroy." A gravity-manipulating scientist shook his head. "You assume it is violent because it moves faster than our fleets. Perhaps it is simply advanced. Perhaps it is curious." Curiosity, however, offered little comfort. The Empire had always relied on control, surveillance, and deterrence. The unknown vessel challenged all three. Krint sat silently, listening. Finally, he spoke. "Prepare our fastest intercept fleet, not for battle but to observe. Every report we receive about this vessel must be analyzed immediately. Nothing leaves our sensors untouched again." Back in the human vessel, Alara watched the alien fleet assemble. "They want to see us," she said. "Let them. Observation does not equal conflict." "They will learn soon enough," Harun frowned. "Do you think they'll attack if they get impatient?" Alara shook her head. "No, the Empire fears what it does not understand. It will hesitate because its pride cannot allow a mistake. That hesitation is enough for us to act if necessary, but I hope we won't have to." Hours turned into cycles. The Empire tried to chase, predict, and trap the vessel. Every attempt failed. Every calculation proved wrong. The humans remained just out of reach, patient, calm, and aware. Finally, during one cycle, a sudden event shocked the Empire. A massive stellar storm erupted in a nearby system. Its energy would normally tear apart any vessel, including the Empire's own patrol ships. Yet the human vessel sailed straight through the storm without damage, navigating currents of charged particles as if it were a gentle river. Reports streamed into the obsidian crown. Impossible! It passed through the storm at full speed, no shields active, no damage sustained. The scientists were speechless. Even the fastest Empire ships required extreme shielding or energy redirection to survive such an event. And yet the humans moved effortlessly. Admiral Krint's face darkened. "It is not a weapon," he said slowly, almost to himself. "It is something else, something more." That night, as the Empire's fleet regrouped in frustration, humans watched the distant alien vessels. Alara stood by the viewport gazing at the stars. "Do you think they understand who we are yet?" Harun asked. Alara smiled. "Not yet. But soon they will. And when they do, they will realize humans are not to be underestimated. Sometimes, simply surviving and observing is enough to make the galaxy take notice." For now, though, the unknown vessel remained a mystery. The Empire could only wonder at its speed, its technology, and the strange calm of its crew. And the humans? They moved quietly, leaving behind only questions, awe, and a growing respect from those who dared to watch and learn. The stars stretched infinitely before them. The unknown vessel was faster than thought, smarter than imagined, and far more human than any alien had expected. In the Empire's council chambers, the first signs of fear, and perhaps respect, began to take root. The galaxy would never be the same. The Galactic Empire had never felt this powerless. Weeks had passed since the first detection of the unknown vessel, and every attempt to catch, study, or communicate with it had failed. Sensors that once gave the Empire confidence now seemed useless. Charts, calculations, and algorithms all crumbled against something that defied logic. Admiral Krint sat at the command console of the Obsidian Crown, his four-fingered hands tapping rhythmically on the surface. The holographic map of the surrounding star systems flickered with each new blip, showing every patrol ship, every scanning drone, and yet, nothing matched the vessel's movements. "Admiral, the unknown ship is again near the outer edge of the Trinix sector," said Lieutenant Jorvak, the fleet tracking officer. His antennae twitched nervously. At this speed, it should have taken 3 cycles to reach that point. Calculations say it would have had to move faster than light. That cannot be. Krint leaned back, rubbing his mandibles. It is not limited by the same physics we are. We are chasing shadows. Every movement it makes is deliberate. We are the ones reacting. The council of alien leaders gathered aboard the flagship's observation deck. Representatives from 6 major species argued in heated tones, their voices echoing in the chamber. Some were winged, some gelatinous, some crystalline. All shared one concern: the unknown vessel. "It is a weapon," hissed the four-winged general, claws tapping the console. "No species could move like that without intent to destroy. We must attack it before it grows stronger." "No," replied a tall, transparent scientist. "You assume intent because you cannot understand it. Perhaps it is exploring. Perhaps it is learning." "Learning," scoffed a squamous diplomat. "From us, the Empire, it could be learning weaknesses to exploit." Krint remained silent. He had begun to notice patterns others ignored. The vessel did not attack, it did not block, it did not steal. It simply moved, observed, and disappeared. That was not aggression. That was intelligence, pure and untainted. Meanwhile, aboard the human vessel, Captain Alara Morgan reviewed the Empire's reactions. Her crew had charted patrol routes, sensor blind spots, and fleet behaviors in real time. Humans did not need brute force. Observation was enough. "Harun, the Empire continues to underestimate us," Alara said. "Every action we take is being analyzed, but they cannot predict how we think. That is our advantage." Harun leaned over the display. "They are persistent. If they get impatient, they might act rashly." Alara smiled. "Impatience is their weakness. Patience is ours. Let them move as they will. They will learn that not all threats require weapons." As the Empire's fleet repositioned, a small group of elite pilots was dispatched. These were the fastest, most skilled aviators from multiple species, trained to intercept vessels beyond their usual capabilities. They were confident, armed with the Empire's most advanced technology, and certain that the unknown vessel would be a challenge, but not an unsolvable one. The pilots approached the vessel in formation. Their ships hummed with energy, shields active, weapons calibrated, and sensors scanning. Yet the unknown ship was nowhere to be found. "Where did it go?" demanded one pilot, frustration creeping into his voice. "It's moving too fast," muttered another. I cannot even lock on." The human vessel, meanwhile, moved with ease through asteroid fields that should have been deadly. It slid between massive rocks, turned on precise angles, and appeared in multiple locations in ways that seemed impossible to the alien pilots. The humans were aware of the fleet's approach. They did not panic. They did not flee. They simply continued their observation, recording every detail. To the aliens, it was maddening. The humans were always one step ahead, yet never in an aggressive way. On the Obsidian Crown, Admiral Krint watched reports flood in. Each report confirmed the same thing. The unknown vessel was faster, more intelligent, and utterly unpredictable. "We cannot match it with our ships," Krint said quietly. "We are reactive. We cannot plan for something that moves outside our understanding." The alien scientists argued about technology. Could they build faster ships? Could they develop new sensors? Every idea seemed insufficient. The unknown vessel was not just a challenge, it was a mirror, showing the Empire the limitations of their own technology and arrogance. And then, an unexpected event occurred. A nearby system star began a rapid energy fluctuation, sending out deadly bursts of radiation that would destroy any ship within light seconds. The Empire's patrol fleet hesitated, unsure if they could stabilize shields quickly enough. The unknown vessel moved through the system effortlessly. It glided along the currents of energy, adjusting trajectory with precision, avoiding the deadly bursts without slowing or activating conventional shields. Every human crew member aboard the ship moved calmly, observing the storm as if it were a simple river to navigate. Reports reached the Empire's fleet. "Admiral, the vessel is inside the radiation field. Our calculations, it should be destroyed, yet it is unharmed." Krint's mandibles clicked in disbelief. "It is not technology alone," he muttered. "It is intelligence and patience, something we cannot measure or weaponize." Among the alien leaders, tension grew. Some wanted to retreat. Others wanted to attack before the humans demonstrated more of their unknown abilities. Debate raged, sometimes heated, sometimes fearful. In the human ship's control room, Alara watched the fleet's confusion. "Do you see?" she asked Harun. "They think speed and power are everything. They do not realize that observation, patience, and strategy are as strong as any weapon." Harun nodded slowly. "They will learn, eventually." The humans made another move that stunned the Empire. They intercepted an automated freighter that was drifting into a dangerous asteroid belt. Without entering combat or using weapons, they redirected the freighter to safety, using subtle gravitational adjustments and precise maneuvers. The aliens were forced to observe. Their sensors recorded every action. Their scientists whispered among themselves. For the first time, some leaders began to consider that humans were not only capable of surviving, but were capable of solving problems the Empire could not. In a council meeting aboard the flagship, a young alien officer, recently promoted for her analytical skills, spoke hesitantly. "Perhaps we have underestimated them," she said. "We see them as unknown and we fear the unknown, but they do not attack. They do not disrupt unless necessary. Their actions demonstrate intelligence we have not seen in other species." Some members scoffed. "Intelligence? They are a threat because they move faster than our fleets." "No," the officer replied. "They are a lesson. They show us that brute force is not always the answer. Observation, strategy, and patience, these are weapons in their hands." Back in the human vessel, Alara prepared for the next maneuver. They had learned more about the Empire than they had expected. They had mapped patrol routes, sensor coverage, and fleet behaviors. "Harun, it is time to leave this sector," she said. "We have gathered enough. Let them digest what they have seen. Let them learn patience, and let them question their own abilities." Harun studied the holographic display. "Do you think they will understand?" Alara smiled faintly. "Some will. Others will continue to panic. That is their choice. We only need to observe and act wisely. The galaxy will adjust when they see what humans can do without firing a single weapon." The human vessel vanished once more into the stars, reappearing in locations that defied expectation. Every maneuver frustrated the Empire's fleets. The humans had no weapons, no shields visible, yet their intelligence alone made them untouchable. Admiral Krint sighed. "They are teaching us something," he said aloud, almost to himself, "and I am not sure we are ready to learn it." The Empire's fleets regrouped, uncertain how to proceed. Patrol ships returned to their posts, scientists recalculated theories, and generals argued endlessly. The unknown vessel was more than just a mystery, it was a mirror of the Empire's limitations. And humans aboard their quiet ship moved with calm purpose. They observed, they recorded, and they survived. Not through force, not through weapons, but through ingenuity, patience, and careful thought. The unknown vessel had become a symbol, and the Empire could not ignore it. Questions spread among leaders, scientists, and pilots alike. Who are these humans? What can they do? How far does their intelligence reach? The answers were unknown. But one thing was certain. The humans were not just fast, they were clever, unpredictable, and extraordinary. And the Empire would never forget it. The Galactic Empire had reached a crossroads. Weeks of chasing, observing, and analyzing the unknown vessel had yielded no results. No attack, no damage, no theft of information, only baffling intelligence and remarkable efficiency. What the Empire once considered unshakable, its fleets, sensors, and algorithms, now seemed fragile in comparison. Admiral Krint convened an emergency council aboard the Obsidian Crown. Alien leaders of all kinds crowded the chamber: winged generals, crystalline engineers, telepathic advisors, and squamous diplomats. Tension filled the air like a storm cloud. "We cannot predict it," Krint said plainly. "We cannot catch it. And every cycle we observe it, we learn how limited we truly are." One counselor, a telepath named Vera, twitched her tendrils nervously. "It is not just fast," she said. "It moves with purpose. Every action seems deliberate. They are testing us." Krint frowned. "Testing? Perhaps, or they are teaching us, whether we realize it or not." Outside the council chamber, the Empire's fleets continued to patrol the star systems. Their sensors were active, their ships ready for combat. Yet the humans were always just beyond reach, observing, analyzing, and navigating space with calm precision. No ship in the Empire's history had moved with such intelligence, and no captain had commanded with such patience. A sudden alert blared through the flagship. "Admiral, there is an unstable star cluster in the Karen sector. It is collapsing faster than predicted. Every fleet in the area is in danger." Krint's mandibles clicked sharply. "Send our fastest intercept fleet. Stabilize the system if possible." Seconds later, reports came flooding in. The fleets attempted to redirect energy fields, adjust planetary orbits, and stabilize the volatile system. Their actions were limited by technology and reaction speed. The star cluster emitted bursts of radiation and gravitational waves that threatened entire fleets. Ships were forced to retreat for their own safety. And then the human vessel appeared. It entered the system without hesitation. Its hull gleamed faintly under the star's light, yet no shields were active. No weapons were deployed. It moved calmly, analyzing gravitational currents and radiation bursts with a precision the Empire had never imagined. Admiral Krint and his council watched in stunned silence. The humans did not attack. They did not retreat. They simply solved a problem that the Empire's finest minds could not. Using subtle gravitational manipulation and trajectory adjustments, the vessel redirected dangerous stellar energy, stabilizing the system's outer planets without any harm. "Impossible," whispered Vera. "It should require massive energy, multiple fleets, and yet it moves as if it is weightless." Krint nodded slowly. "It is not energy alone, it is intelligence, adaptability, observation, and patience, things we have ignored in our arrogance." Meanwhile, aboard the human vessel, Captain Alara Morgan observed the reactions of the Empire. "They are watching," she said to her first officer, Lieutenant Harun. "They do not understand what we are doing yet, but they will. Soon they will learn that humans solve problems differently. That is enough to shift their perception." Harun studied the display. "Do you think they will see it as a lesson or as a threat?" Alara smiled faintly. "Some will panic, some will admire. Both are necessary for them to grow." Back in the Empire's fleets, panic and admiration intertwined. Fleet captains whispered in fear and awe. Scientists recalculated formulas that now seemed inadequate. Pilots questioned the limits of physics. For the first time, the Empire was confronted with a species that operated beyond their understanding, not through weapons, but through intellect, strategy, and moral judgment. The unknown vessel then performed another remarkable act. A small colony ship had been trapped in an asteroid belt near the Karen sector. Conventional rescue missions were impossible. The automated fleet drones could not reach it. Yet the human vessel maneuvered through the treacherous field, guiding the colony ship to safety using careful adjustments in gravity and propulsion. No weapons, no shields, only problem-solving and precise thinking. Across the Empire, whispers spread. Humans are extraordinary, some admitted. They do not fight, yet they achieve the impossible. Admiral Krint summoned a younger officer, Lieutenant Rillan, for a private conversation. Do you see it, Rillan? The humans are not like any species we have known. They do not rely on force. They do not panic. They solve problems we cannot. Rillan nodded, his antennae flicking nervously. Yes, Admiral, but what does that mean for us? It means, Krint replied slowly, that we have underestimated them. We have spent centuries assuming speed, weapons, and shields are the only measure of power. They have shown us intelligence, cooperation, and patience are equally, if not more, powerful. Meanwhile, humans continued to observe and record, their ship gliding silently through space. Captain Alara spoke to her crew. We have shown them a glimpse of what humans can do without aggression. Next, they must see what humans can accomplish when ingenuity is applied in ways they cannot predict. Harun studied the course charts. Do you mean push their limits further? Alara nodded. Yes, not to harm, but to demonstrate. The Empire fears what it does not understand. We will show them understanding is more powerful than fear. The human vessel then entered a sector plagued by massive magnetic storms. These storms interfered with communications, navigation, and sensors. The Empire's fleets avoided the sector entirely, fearing destruction. Yet the humans moved effortlessly, using the magnetic fields to propel and guide their ship. It was a display of ingenuity that left the Empire scrambling for explanations. Reports reached Admiral Krint. They are inside the storm. They should be destroyed by interference, radiation, or gravitational collapse, and yet they are unharmed. How is this possible? Krint leaned back in his chair, deep in thought. It is not just technology, it is thinking differently. Seeing the galaxy as possibilities rather than limitations. That is their strength, and that is what we must learn if we are to survive alongside them. In the Alien Council chamber, debate raged more than ever. Some called for direct confrontation, claiming the humans' unpredictability was dangerous. Others argued that this species could be humanity's greatest teacher, showing the Empire that arrogance and reliance on brute force were no longer sufficient. One young officer, inspired by what she had witnessed, suggested an unprecedented course of action. We should attempt communication, she said. We have always assumed humans are unknown. Perhaps it is time we acknowledge their intelligence and try to learn from them, rather than chase them blindly. The idea shocked the Council. Communication with a species so fast, so unpredictable, and so advanced was almost unheard of. Yet some leaders nodded in agreement. It was the first step toward understanding, rather than fear. Meanwhile, humans prepared their departure from the sector. They had collected enough data, observed enough reactions, and quietly demonstrated their capabilities. Their final act before leaving was subtle but symbolic. They redirected a small comet away from a densely populated asteroid belt, preventing potential disaster. The Empire watched, stunned. Humans had not destroyed, had not threatened, yet they had solved problems the Empire could not. They had demonstrated power without aggression, intelligence without arrogance, and skill without violence. Admiral Krint finally spoke to his officers, voice firm. They are not our enemies. They are our mirror. They are showing us what we have ignored for centuries. We may not understand them fully yet, but we must respect their intelligence or risk being left behind. Back aboard the human vessel, Alara observed the Empire's fleets retreating to regroup. They have seen enough, she said. They are beginning to understand. Some will admire, some will fear. Both will carry the lesson we intended. Humans do not need weapons to change the galaxy. Harun nodded. Do you think they will remember it? Alara smiled faintly. They will. Humans leave marks not by destruction, but by showing the possibilities of thought, patience, and ingenuity. That is a legacy no fleet can erase. As the human vessel vanished once more into the depths of space, the Empire was left to contemplate a new reality. Their fleets were intact, their technology advanced, yet their understanding of power had been challenged. For the first time, the Empire realized that true strength was not measured by speed, shields, or weapons, but by intelligence, adaptability, and moral judgment. The galaxy had shifted, imperceptibly but irrevocably, toward a future where humans were no longer unknown. They were extraordinary, they were capable, and the Empire, for all its might, had much to learn. The turning point had arrived. Humans had demonstrated that cleverness, patience, and strategy could outmatch even the most technologically advanced fleets in the galaxy, and the Empire would never forget it. The Galactic Empire was quiet for the first time in cycles. Its fleets hovered in orbit, sensors humming as they recorded every detail of the human vessel's last actions. For weeks, debates raged among the alien species, winged generals, crystalline scientists, telepathic advisors, and diplomats from squamous worlds. Some demanded a full-scale attack. Others argued for caution, urging the Council to recognize the humans' unmatched intelligence. Admiral Krint stood on the bridge of the Obsidian Crown, his eyes fixed on the stars. The unknown vessel had disappeared from sensor range, leaving only questions and a lingering sense of awe. The Empire had been shaken, not by weapons but by creativity, patience, and ingenuity. The humans are gone, Krint said quietly, but they have changed us forever. A young officer, Lieutenant Rillan, nodded, still processing the events. Sir, they didn't fight, they didn't attack. Yet every system we tried to protect, every fleet we deployed, they outperformed us. Every time. How do we respond to that? Krint allowed himself a small sigh. We respond by learning, by respecting them, by understanding that power is not only in fleets or weapons but in thought, unity, and moral clarity. Across the galaxy, the humans continued their journey. Captain Alara Morgan sat in the control room, observing the vastness of space and the reactions of distant fleets through the small but advanced monitoring instruments on board. Do you think they understand now? Lieutenant Harun asked, leaning over the display. Alara smiled faintly. Some will understand, others will fear. Both will carry the lesson forward. Humans change the galaxy not by destroying it but by showing what is possible. The crew prepared for the next phase of their mission. While the Empire analyzed and debated, humans moved quietly through the stars, leaving behind impressions of intelligence and restraint. They had demonstrated that solving problems, protecting life, and moving with foresight could create impact far greater than weapons ever could. Back on the Empire's council station, discussions shifted from fear to admiration. A crystalline scientist addressed the room. They have taught us something invaluable, she said. Speed alone is meaningless. Strength alone is meaningless. What matters is understanding, planning, and acting with clarity. They solved problems we could not without deploying any form of aggression. A winged general growled but nodded reluctantly. Their patience is maddening, their foresight unmatched. They may not be warriors, but they are formidable in ways we cannot fight. Even the telepathic advisors admitted it. Humans were exceptional. They moved with calm confidence, solved impossible problems, and left no destruction behind. It was an intelligence the Empire could not ignore. Meanwhile, humans detected a nearby colony experiencing structural instability due to minor planetary shifts. They moved quickly but carefully, using subtle gravitational manipulation to stabilize the environment. No alarms were triggered, no weapons were deployed. Just observation, calculation, and precise execution. The Empire watched, recording every detail. Reports came in. They are not a threat, yet they solve issues no Empire technology can. Every action is deliberate, precise, and remarkable. Admiral Krint knew that his fleet and the Empire's doctrines had changed. No longer could arrogance or technological superiority be considered enough. The humans had proven that thinking differently, adapting quickly, and working together without violence could achieve what the Empire had never imagined. Within weeks, new strategies began forming. Fleet commanders discussed tactics that emphasized observation, prediction, and coordination, inspired by the humans' methods. Scholars debated ethics alongside science, realizing that morality and intelligence together created a powerful combination. Captain Alara and her crew continued their journey, aware of the influence they were having. "We've done what we needed," she said. "They see us, they respect us, and they fear underestimating us. That is enough for now." Harun glanced at her. "Do you think they will try to follow us, learn from us directly?" Alara shook her head. "Some will. Others will take decades to understand. But the seeds have been planted. Humanity's example will spread across the stars. And that is how we win, not by force, but by showing what is possible." In the Empire, changes were already visible. Fleet formations shifted to allow for observation and adaptation rather than immediate attack. Scientists began experiments in predictive strategy inspired by the human vessel. Diplomats argued for engagement rather than conquest, hoping to learn from this remarkable species. Even among the more cautious leaders, there was a grudging respect. Winged generals who had initially called for attacks now recognized that humans were more powerful than any weapon they possessed, and more dangerous if misunderstood. The final report reached Admiral Krint. The human vessel had vanished from known space, leaving no trace but its actions. Yet the lesson it delivered echoed across the Empire. Speed and firepower were not everything. Strategy, intelligence, morality, and patience were equally, if not more, formidable. Krint stood on the observation deck, gazing at the stars. "They are gone," he said softly, "but they leave a mark. The galaxy will never forget them." Far away in the human vessel, Captain Alara looked out at the endless stars. The crew had accomplished what no one expected. They had challenged an empire, not with weapons but with ingenuity, patience, and vision. "Do you think we changed them?" Harun asked. Alara nodded. "Already, we showed them that humans are not to be underestimated. They will remember it. Some will fear it, some will admire it, and some will try to follow it. But all will recognize one truth: humans achieve what others cannot without needing destruction or dominance." The unknown vessel continued its journey, a silent ambassador of what humans represented: intelligence, morality, and creativity. Across the galaxy, the Empire would debate, study, and learn from this species for generations. And for the first time, the Galactic Empire realized that true strength was not just in fleets or weapons, but in thought, ingenuity, and the courage to act wisely. In the stars, humans moved onward, leaving only lessons and possibilities behind. No battle had been fought. No life had been destroyed. Yet the galaxy had changed forever. The Empire on Edge had learned its most important lesson. Humans were extraordinary, not because of force, but because of who they were and how they thought. As the human vessel disappeared into the depths of space, one truth remained clear. The galaxy had met a species that could not be controlled, predicted, or ignored. Humanity had arrived, not to conquer but to teach by example, and the lessons would echo for centuries. Admiral Krint, standing in the quiet council chamber, finally allowed himself a smile. "Perhaps," he said softly, "we have met our equals in intellect and our teachers in patience. The humans are gone, but they are here to stay, in ways we are only beginning to understand." Far away, Captain Alara turned to her crew. "Our journey continues. There are more lessons to learn, more stars to explore, and more minds to inspire. Humanity moves forward not to dominate but to show what is possible. That is our legacy. And with that, the vessel accelerated beyond sensor range, vanishing into the infinite expanse of the galaxy. The Empire remained, forever changed, humbled and inspired by a species that had arrived quietly, acted wisely, and left a mark far deeper than any weapon ever could. The story of the humans, the unknown, unstoppable, clever humans, would become legend across the galaxy. Not because they destroyed or conquered, but because they demonstrated the power of intelligence, unity, and morality. The Empire on Edge had found its lesson, and humanity had won, without a single battle.